What is up, guys? Happy New Year. I hope everybody's 2019 is off to an absolutely phenomenal start. I'm going to go ahead and get some rest time in on the Supra today. We do need to go and finish the teardown part. If you watched the last video, you know that I needed to go through and make a tool to remove the crank pulley. And this right here is what I came up with. It's super simple. It's a 3-foot long piece of steel. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. I picked it up from Lowe's for like $8, which in my opinion is way better than about like the $80 or whatever it was that they were charging online for some of these crank pulley holders. And basically all you do, the same 3 bolts that we're using right here for this pulley puller, you use those same 3 holes and it wraps around, and then you just use counter leverage on it basically as you go through and pull off the 19mm bolt right there. So things I wanted to go get done today, we definitely need to go, like I said, finish disassembling the front of it. I also wanted to go through and do a mock-up of the fuel pump bracket here because I don't think that I'll have enough room with the fuel pump actually mounted to go and clear this fan shroud because it sticks out like another almost 2 inches right here for this reservoir. And if it turns out I don't actually have sufficient clearance between the fan shroud and the internal reservoir and everything that's on the back of it, as well as the fuel pump on the front end, I might need to go and figure out a slightly different strategy. So we're gonna go ahead and get that mocked up to test it out. Also wanted to go through and show you guys the PHR Thermostat Delete. I don't think you guys actually need instructions on how to do it, but I figured I'd show it to you anyway. So after we get that stuff mocked up and tested out, if we have enough time, I'll actually go through and build the 20 AN lines for the coolant system today too, just to kind of show you guys what that process is like. The wiring harness has already been sent back to Cam over a tweak so he can get the extra injectors wired up. Should be there by Friday, which means we should have it back probably the following Friday. And tomorrow I'm gonna go and pick up the 45-degree elbow so we can actually do the turn down for the compressor. Hopefully I can go and connect with my buddy Dave this weekend and borrow his TIG, and then we can go ahead and get the turn down welded on as well as the 20 AN to the upper water neck, and then get those brought over to powder coat early next week and hopefully have everything back and up and running by the end of the following week. That's the goal. All right guys, so real quick pro tip on this stuff: when you're taking off the cam gears, what you're gonna wanna do is pull the valve covers off, and then right here about 1/3 of the way back on the camshaft, this is a 32mm hex, and that way you can go and hold the camshaft in place while you either torque or remove the cam gear bolts, and it makes it a lot easier. All right, so now that we got all that stuff off, we're gonna come in here, and I told you we're doing a mock-up. This right here is what we're gonna go and put on, and it's also got, for when you attach the cam gear, this little hex drive. And this is actually what's gonna go and drive our fuel pump. For this, I'm gonna go and take these bolts right here and just kind of set it in here. And all we're doing for this, I just wanna get it roughed up so that way we can go and measure the coolant lines and make sure that everything's actually gonna go and fit, and then I can go and mark the upper water neck too for where we need to go and cut it and weld on the 20 AN fitting. All right, so now that we got this on, I'm gonna go grab the radiator so we can get that guy down here, and then also grab the fuel pump so that we can go ahead and attach that too, and then we'll go through and measure our lines. All right guys, so real quick, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Seth over at Sleeper Designs for taking the time to go and design this fuel pump bracket. Dude, this thing is awesome. It is so well put together. It looks sick. Honestly, it's fantastic. I'm a huge fan. We gotta go and check this thing out in a little bit more detail. Let's take a look. So this thing, it just sits super flush up here. Now, I didn't actually go and tighten this down all the way. As you can see, I'm missing a couple bolts right down here since we're just doing mock-up, but it looks super duper sharp. It's tied up against all the edges right here. You still got sufficient clearance. So Seth designed this thing. This pump comes with this little yellow bracket right here, and then it just goes and clamps down over the top of the pump. There's actually a recess in here, and I'll have to go and take it off and show you guys, but this clamp only goes in one way, and he's located it to where the hex bit to go and tighten down the pump and take it off if you need to is just right up here. That's awesome. That is so well thought out, dude. I love it. So yeah, huge shout out to Seth, dude. Thank you so much. I love it, man. That thing is fantastic. Well done. All right, so you guys remember how I said in the beginning of this video that I didn't think it was gonna work with the radiator fans and things like that? Well, turns out I was almost right, and I think I might have a solution. Check this out. So right here, basically what I did, oh, you can't really tell. Basically what I did right here is instead of putting this all the way up here to where it's like all the way up and seated, yes, I have a hammer holding it right now, but instead of putting it all the way up there, what I'm thinking is if I put it a little bit lower down, I'll be able to go and run the coolant hose from here over to here and then just back, if that makes sense. So in order to do that, basically what I'm talking about is putting the bottom of the shroud right here at the bottom of the radiator, Because the alternative would basically be taking this top piece of the shroud and then lifting it right butt up against here. Except the problem with that is that then the coolant reservoir here winds up lifted up about another inch, and it sits flush with the top of this. Okay, and if it sits flush with the top of this, you see where that's going to be a problem, because then there's no area here for it to go and cross over. So I think that's a good solution. That's the one I'm going to go ahead and run with anyway. If you guys have any input or anything, suggestions, anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. I definitely love to hear them. The alternative is I could go and spend like $600 on the PHR fan shroud, which, anyway. But yeah, so I think this will work. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are. Now, since we're doing the thermostat delete on this is actually the gasket that normally would kind of go and sit on the thermostat and seal everything right here. I am not going to go and put this in today though, just because I will be taking this over to my powder coat guy and having him powder coat this probably down to about right there at the top of the threads, just so everything is nice and pretty. Now, before we get going too crazy, I don't know if you can see it right down here. We've actually got, this is the lower water neck. Basically looks just like this, only without the 28 fitting down here on the bottom. We're going to go through and pull this off. It's just a couple, looks like 12 millimeter bolts on here. Pull those off and then get this guy dropped on there so that way we can measure the lower coolant line as well. And there you have it. I gotta say, guys, do yourselves a favor if you are doing the thermostat rotator like we are here. Do it when you don't have a turbo in the way. It makes it a lot easier without the compressor turned down and the intercooler pipe in the way. So just saying. So now we got to go through and organize our 20 AN fittings and just kind of figure out which ones I want to use where. This right here is the 20 AN bung thing that I was talking about welding on the upper water neck over here. All right. Basically what I'm trying to do is give the coolant the straightest path possible, both for the upper radiator pipe as well as the low radiator pipe. And this is kind of what I came up with so far. I don't know how well you guys can see this. Hopefully you can. I'm not sure. If I do the straight one down here on the bottom of the radiator, and then I do one of the 90 degrees right off here, that'll have it basically go kind of up a little bit, just over top of the sway bar right here, and then in, and I think that'll work. And up here, we can do a 90 degree right here, and then I'll be honest with you guys, I really do like the idea of just doing another 90 up here, and then just boom, boom. So I think I might order another one of those, just because if I do a 45, like, that's gonna be super awkward, because I'm gonna have to go and cut it like right there. It's gonna be super close to the pump, and then you're still gonna wind up with like a little bit of a kink in the hose. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do the radiator hoses tonight and go until I go and figure out which fittings I want to use on what side. I do think that doing the 90 in the straight is probably gonna be the way to go on the bottom end. On the top end though, I don't know. I might just go and order another 90 degree 20 AN fitting, just because I don't know. I like the way it looked better, and I think would be easier to weld. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do this right here, just because I like it better. I think it's a little bit more functional too. So sorry about the shadow. But if I go and just do 20 AN right here, do 90 to 90, basically just like the stock one is, then go and weld that right about there. It'll be a nice smooth transition. All right, so real quick, anybody doing the thermostat delete, this right here is what you need to modify. So after you delete the thermostat from your lower water neck right down here, we'll focus. This right here is a piece you're going to be deleting. This is the piece that comes with the PHR kit, okay? Basically what you're going to do right here, plug that guy down there right in there like this, and then your upper neck is going to go and sit down there right like that. So basically what we're going to be doing is blocking off this bit right here. So basically the whole point of that is just that it keeps coolant constantly moving through the radiator as the water pump is going. And part of what you're doing with this plug right here is basically just blocking off the bypass, all right? So normally that's kind of the job of the thermostat. It'll go and either keep it open or closed. All we're doing is basically just keeping that thing nice and plugged. Door coolant's constantly moving through the entirety of the radiator, and you don't have to worry about it, basically backflowing and not going through the radiator if you didn't have this little plug. All right, so now we got the fun stuff out of the way. I'm gonna go and throw you guys back up here on the tripod, take some of this stuff apart, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump on the turbo install too. So first tip of doing a turbo install, These gaskets are like 10 bucks a piece, not even. So just, I mean, I highly recommend always using a new one. This one, as you can see, I mean, it's still in really good shape, but I'm still gonna use a new one. So I'd rather go and spend the extra 5 or 10, 20 bucks, however much it is, on a new gasket. Just kind of have that additional peace of mind, that additional insurance, than risk going blowing one of these out during a run or something, so. All right, so we got our new gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on first. Then we got our turbine housing. This pretty much only goes on one way. Yeah, V-band to the back. All right, guys, so next up we're gonna be doing the center section of the turbo. If you look right down here on this drain, you'll see that's nice and clean. You can get little paper gaskets for this right here, and then just bolt that thing in. It makes it a lot easier. Do not use RTV. The problem that you have with RTV, if you look right in here, when it goes and squishes in, like inside the turbo outlet, and then you wind up with all kinds of oil lifting problems and stuff like that, where it's just not draining out fast enough. So please, please, please make sure you use little paper gaskets. That's what we're gonna be using today. So let's go ahead and get to work, get this thing dropped in here. So we went ahead and got this guy all marked up. Basically what we're gonna do now is go and pull off the compressor cover, and we're gonna weld this piece, little bottom part of it, onto this here, and it'll be a little turn down just like on the old turbo. These right here are the other pieces we gotta go and take over to powder coat after we get this guy welded up on there too. And other than that, guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. So there's not a whole lot more I can do up until we get the stuff back from powder coat. On the next video, I think we're gonna A, prep the intake manifold, or B, show you guys how to do a Frankenhanger fuel setup / pickup tube for this mechanical deal here. Other than that, that is going to effectively do it for today's video. I really hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. As usual, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see y'all very soon in the next video. Catch you next time.